Today, while I was beseeching the Beloved to speak through me, since I couldn't think of anything to say and had no idea how to begin to fulfill this particular vow of obedience, I had a vision that I will share with you now as a foundation we can build on. It came to me that the soul is like a castle made exclusively of diamond or some other very clear crystal. In this castle are a multitude of dwellings, just as in heaven there are many mansions. If we muse on this deeply, friends, we will see that the soul of a righteous person is none other than a garden, in which the Beloved takes great delight. What do you think a place might be like that such a king, so powerful and wise, so pure and filled with all good things, would find so delightful? I myself can come up with nothing as magnificent as the beauty and amplitude of a soul. Our intellects, no matter how sharp, can no more grasp this than they can comprehend God. It is said, though, that he created us in his own image. If this is true, which it is, there is no point wearing ourselves out trying to fathom the great beauty of this castle with our mere minds. Even though the castle is a created thing, there is a vast difference between creator and creature, so the fact that the soul is made in God's image means that it is impossible for us to understand her sublime dignity and loveliness. What a shame that through our own unconsciousness we do not know ourselves. Wouldn't a person look foolish, friends, if you asked him who he was and he didn't know, had no idea who his father or mother were, or what country he came from? If this seems stupid to you, know that our own stupidity is incomparably greater when we do not strive to know who we are. What transcends the body? We have heard that we have souls, and our faith compels us to believe that it is true, but we rarely consider the soul's excellent qualities, or who it is that dwells within her, or how precious she really is. And so we don't bother to tend her beauty. All our attention is focused on the rough matrix of the diamond, the outer walls of the castle, which are none other than these bodies of ours. Remember, this castle has many dwellings, some above, some below, others to either side. At the center is the most important dwelling of them all, where the most secret things unfold between the soul and her Beloved. Hold this castle comparison in your mind. Maybe God will let it reveal to you a glimpse of the many different blessings that, as far as I have understood, he is happy to give to souls. The truth is, the blessings are so abundant, no one could understand them all, especially someone as dense as I am. If you simply know that these things are possible, it will be a great consolation when they happen to you. Even if they do not, it will console you simply to praise God's great goodness. It doesn't do any harm to reflect on heavenly bounty and on the joy that blessed ones feel, does it? In fact, it inspires us to strive for those delights ourselves. Neither does it harm us to find out that in the very midst of our exile, such a great God chooses to associate with such wretched worms like ourselves. Seeing this, how could we do anything but love him for his perfect compassion and boundless mercy? I am convinced that anyone who is bothered by the notion that the Beloved would grant such favors in the midst of our exile must be severely lacking in humility and love of neighbor. How else could she possibly be unhappy when God bestows his gifts on one of our brothers or sisters? This blessing of another in no way precludes his blessing of the rest of us. His Majesty can bless whoever he wants. Sometimes God reveals some great thing just to manifest his glory. Remember when the disciples asked Christ if the blind man was suffering from his own transgressions or those of his parents? He gave the man back his sight. God does not grant glimpses of his grandeur on the basis that the one receiving such a glimpse is holier than the ones who do not. He does it so that we can recognize his glory and praise its manifestation in his creation. That is what happened, for instance, with St. Paul and the Magdalene. You could say that those blessings seem to be impossible, and that it is not nice to upset the weak with false hope. But there is less to lose when we risk the chance that the weak ones might not believe in such holy things than there is when we hold back what we know from those who would most benefit from God's gifts. These are the souls who would be delighted by such gifts, and would be awakened to even greater love of the one who bestows them, the one whose power and glory are so vast. Anyone who does not believe in these blessings will not experience them. God appreciates it when we do not put limits on his works. And so, friends, try to never doubt the Beloved, even if he does not lead you by this path. How do we get into our beautiful, delightful castle, after all? It must seem like I am talking nonsense. If the castle is the soul, you obviously cannot enter it because it is inside yourself. It would be absurd to suggest that someone go into a room she's already in. But remember, there are many different ways to be in a place. Many souls hang around the outer courtyard where the guards are. They are not interested in getting inside the castle. They have no idea what lies within this precious place, or who lives in there, or how many rooms there are. You know how some books on prayer recommend that you enter within yourself? That's exactly what I'm talking about here. Not long ago, a very wise man told me that souls who do not practice prayer are like people whose limbs are paralyzed. Even though they have hands and feet, they cannot command them. And so there are souls so caught up in worldly matters that there is no hope for their recovery. They seem to be incapable of entering within themselves. These are souls so used to dealing with the nasty creatures that inhabit the outer walls of the castle that they have become almost like them. Even though they are naturally endowed with the power to commune with the Beloved himself, there is no remedy for them. Unless these souls strive to heal their profound misery, they will be turned into pillars of salt, just like Lot's wife was changed when she looked back. It seems to me that the entry door to this castle is prayer and meditation. I do not mean just silent contemplation. When vocal prayer is accompanied by genuine reflection, it counts as true prayer. But if someone prays without awareness of who she is talking to, what it is she is asking, who is doing the asking and who is being asked, I do not consider it prayer, no matter how much her lips are moving. Even if she cannot constantly sustain this awareness, it does not matter, as long as she is truly reflective some of the time. If she gets into the habit of addressing the Magnificent One as if he were her servant, never questioning the manner in which she is expressing herself, merely letting whatever pops into her head fall out of her mouth, spilling words she has learned by simple repetition, she is not praying. Please, beloved, let no lover of God pray this way. At least among you, my friends, I beg you not to speak to God like that. The practice we have cultivated around here of focusing on interior things is a good safeguard against falling into such beastly ways. I do not have a lot to say to these broken souls. Unless the Beloved himself comes and commands them to rise up, as he did to the man who lay 30 years beside the pool, they are in big trouble. I am reaching out to souls who ultimately will enter the castle. Even if they are somewhat absorbed in the world, their intentions are good. Every once in a while, they do try to put themselves in God's hands and reflect on who they are, even if they do not linger in their meditations. During the course of a month, these souls might pray a few times, but their minds are full of 1,000 things which they are still attached to. Where their treasure lies, says Christ, there also goes their heart. Every once in a while, though, they break free from these things and realize that they are not going the right way to get to the castle's front door. At last, they arrive and enter the first, lower rooms. But so many reptiles have slipped in with them that they cannot even see the beauty of this castle or find any solace in it. Still, they have done very well to have gotten in at all.